How do you see the reasons that explain why there's been so much difficulty in getting an agreement?
I think it's because the leaders of Israel, for various reasons, political and deep religious beliefs and political beliefs, for the last 30 years have resolved that they're not going to withdraw from the occupied territories, from the West Bank. Even when I was still in office, there was some move in this direction. As you may know, after the Camp David Accords, after the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, under Prime Minister Begin, they continued to build a few settlements, and then, of course, that has escalated over a period of time. I think the most settlements in history were made during the time of President Clinton, and when Prime Minister Barack was in office. There was almost an unrestrained increase in the number of settlements in. But I think the desire of leaders in Israel to occupy and colonize the land in the West Bank, that's been the key problem.
The hardliners on both sides are the biggest obstacles to achieving peace between Arabs and Israelis. And those hardliners are Arabs who will not acknowledge Israel's right to exist, and Israelis who want to keep the occupied territories. And you just have to reconcile yourself, and the vast majority of Palestinians and Israelis, or Arabs and Israelis, to the idea that the absolutists on each side have got to be overcome.
I think public opinion there has been fairly consistent when you give it to them in generic question. Would you be willing to exchange land for peace?
They say yes.
The answer is yes. We would be willing to give up the West Bank in order to have permanent peace. Of course, what the political leaders know very shrewdly is the more they can issue the premise or the belief that peace is not possible, security for Israel is not possible, then they say, well, we don't want to give up the land then.
Sure.
So I think that's been the repetitive problem. And of course, there have been some irresponsible decisions made by Palestinians as well.
Sure.
You know, with the suicide bombers and the attacks that have wreaked havoc and fear among completely innocent civilians, children and women. That's been an unforgivable act that has greatly exacerbated the already serious problem.